Hello, welcome to another episode of Ken Fashion Journey. And this week we are talking about the boat shoes and also the Blucher Moccs, or in other words, it's also called the rugged handsome. Now, foremost, there's always a question is that which comes first, the boat shoes or the Blucher Moccs or the rugged handsome? And now, what I'd like to do is to explore the background history of the shoemaking industry in Maine, because all these shoes, they come from Maine. As you know, Maine is the shoe capital for America, whereby when you talk about Northampton over in Great Britain, it is their shoe capital for Great Britain. So let's say when it comes to Maine, the shoe industry, it started back in 1835, whereby, of course, when I look through the history of it, is that because of the migration of all the European immigrants from Europe, and they set foot in Boston, and then they moved inland into settlement in Auburn and also in Lewiston, which is a neighboring township, which is just aligned side by side. So all these immigrants, they are traditionally, their skills from Europe, they were boot makers and shoemakers. So happened in 1835, there was a big order from the government to produce boots for the army. So that really revived and moved and improved the economic situation of the shoemaking industry in Auburn and Lewiston, because there is a lot of shoemakers and bootmakers over there. So they have lots and big orders. And then in came the Civil War back in the mid of the 19th century. So there is even more orders for boots and shoes to be made for the army. And one thing is that when they make those boots for the army, those shoes are not lined. So what happened? How does it come into the present time? When you talk about the boat shoes and the Blucher Moccs or even the penny loafer, it is a very simple and traditional footwear construction whereby it's called moccasins. So what is moccasin? Moccasin is practically a piece of leather. This is actually a piece of paper, but just imagine that this is a piece of leather. So the sole is over here, you know. So what happened is that the piece of leather underneath the sole, okay, at the sole, and then it's wrapped around. So what happened is that the leather, it wrapped around in this way, in this manner, and then on top, they stitch another piece of leather on it. So what you can see, it is the leather wrapped up, and then they stitch another piece of leather over it. So, and then underneath, they stitch on the sole. So that's why this is called the moccasin. And now let's move on to the starting and the birth of the boat shoes, because boat shoes comes first in the sense that in 1935, Paul Sperry from New Haven, Connecticut, he started and he invented the boat shoes, which is called the famous Perry topsider. So the Sperry topsider, it is, they use a non-marking sole, which is the underneath the sole, they have the teeth. That's why it's non-marking. However, the beauty about it, the non-marking sole, is that it will be able to grip the deck, which is the deck of the sailing ship, like a leech, so you wouldn't fall apart. That's why they always call it the boat shoes, or even they call it the deck shoe. And now, let me differentiate is that boat shoes, okay, will always have two eyelets, whereas because is that you wear it without socks, and then also is for a lower ram and is for quick drainage. However, with the comfort of the boat shoes, which has been introduced to daily lives, and then people demanded a pair of shoes whereby it is more practical. So it came out the type whereby it's called the Blucher Moccs or the Ken Moccs. So like for the Blucher Moccs, it comes with 3 eyelets and with a higher ram, so that you can walk around and do your daily chores. So this is a quick story about the origins and how the boat shoes and as it evolved into the Blucher Moccs. And right now, I'm giving you a chronological order of all the various shoe companies and the traditional shoemakers which they reside in Maine. In 1935, Paul Sperry started the Sperry Topsider. So then it moves on from 1935, it moves down to 1946, whereby another company by the name of SEBAGO. SEBAGO is the competitor to the Sperry Topsider, and they started and they manufactured their own boat shoes in Portland, Maine. Subsequently, in 1947, the Quaddy Shoe Company was started in Lewiston, Maine. So what they are very famous for is that they manufacture and they hand sewn the Blucher Moccs and also the Cam Moccs. And of course, they also do a range of boat shoes. And in 1955, the EASTLAND Shoe Company started their manufacturing in Freeport, Maine. And they are very famous. EASTLAND is very famous for their Blucher Moccs and also for the Chukka Moccs. The Chukka Moccs is same as the Blucher Moccs, but it is with a higher piece of leather, like a Chukka, they call it, to wrap around your ankle, especially during the cold weather, as they resemble the boots. In 1967, a big competitor by the name of Rancourt and Company, they started their plant in Lewiston, Maine. So they are very famous for their boat shoes and their Blucher Moccs and also for their Cam Moccs. And also, of course, they have a range of a dress shoe too. And Rancourt, in my opinion, as I have tested, is the best boat shoes and Blucher Moccs that comes out from Maine. From the 1960s, we move on to 1973, whereby Jeffrey Swatch, he started the Timberland Company at Stratham, New Hampshire. So Timberland Company, they are most famous, of course, for their yellow boot, and also they have their famous boat shoes and their rugged hand sewn, which is a new version of the Blucher Moccs. An honorable mention is the HORWEEN Shoe Company back in 1982. So they are based from Chicago, Illinois. So what they did, that HORWEEN, is that they went and talked to Rancourt Shoes, and then they have Rancourt to manufacture a line of boat shoes for them. And I also tried a pair from it. And of course, it's very good because it's from Rancourt. However, then thereafter, as we move on to present time, is whereby HORWEEN is bought over by Nike. So what happened is that they continue in their endeavor of modernizing the boat shoes, and then like HORWEEN, they have their new range of boat shoes in the market, which is meant for today more on the performance type of boat shoes, which is also looking very good, and it is using more of a water drainage and quick drying and waterproofing, those type of elements and quality to be inserted in the boat shoes for the current HORWEEN range. Now, for a more premium range of a boat shoes or Blucher Moccs, they use those type of a HORWEEN leather, whereby it is the oil tan leather, because when it's scratched, if you put your finger and pull it along, you can see my finger inside here, it will smoothen out all the scratches because it got the oil in there. Lovely. Also, at the same time, we take a look at the non-marking sole, whereby you can see all the sawtooth over here. This is actually, it will grip the deck, especially when it's wet, so that it won't be slippery. It will stick to the floor as like a leech. Lovely. Well, I guess we are good today, and please do press the subscribe button and smash the like button, and I shall look forward to see you in the next episode of Ken Fashion Journey, whereby in the future I'll be talking about wearing mix and match for the boat shoes and also the camp Moccs. So till the next time, bye.